Hi everyone, it's Leilani. Welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to be working on another Project Life spread for week 16 of 2025. So this week I am once again trying to make these videos a little bit longer, so I've added in a bit more of my process. So you'll see that I have already printed off my photos and I have them roughly in the spots where I think that they will go. And now I'm looking through my cards. So of course I do have a decently extensive Project Life card stash, but I've been dipping into the LA Studio cards. I'm in my LA Studio era. I'm on the design team this year, so I just receive a lot of product, and I do love LA Studio, so I enjoy using them. So I just grabbed out all of my most recent cards. So the majority of those are from the April kit, which I will link below, except for that Let's Eat card. That is just one from my stash. I have like a little food labeled Project Life card theme. What do you call it? Like a little place where I keep my cards, y'all. Brain fart, I'm not sure. But anyways, I have a food themed one with all my cards in there. So I grabbed that one out. Then for my title card, I didn't have like an actual pre-made card that I thought would work. So I just grabbed out a piece of pattern paper from LA Studio. So it was the same color, like that same kind of pink color. So I grabbed that out and I'm cutting it down to be a 4x6, and we'll pop that into place there as my title card. So now everything is pretty much in the spot that it's going to go. And then I'm going to grab out a little bit of computer paper, and I usually cut this part out as well, but I've kept it in. So typically, since I enjoy using the page protectors that are all 4x6s, I just like the way they look, and I like having the option to put 4x6s in there if I want to, but I don't want the 3x4 cards to not fit well. So I always take some just regular old computer paper and I quickly just adhere them down and put them side by side so that they fit into the page protectors nicely. So that's what I'm going to do now. And then we will get going chatting about the week. So you can see I have my picture of my foot up there at the top. And also, if you've watched my Hobonichi video, you may already have heard this, but earlier in the week, I did roll my ankle. So that's been a huge part of this particular week. And I happened to find that LA Studio card that says, let the good times roll. So that was my own personal little joke that went along with my ankle. But yeah, so I've had kind of a tough week as far as that's gone. It's feeling a lot better now, but I did have a couple rough days where I wasn't able to do much. So I just feel like my mojo of doing all my things and getting all my chores done and just doing all my normal routine was totally changed this week. So I spent a lot of time resting, a lot of times icing and elevating my foot and all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of changed the trajectory of my week for sure. And another thing, not on camera, is that our dryer stopped working. So we finally had to bite the bullet and get a new dryer. So it's actually going to be delivered today. So we don't have it yet, but it's supposed to be delivered today in the next few hours. So I cannot wait to get it, because now, of course, my laundry is piling up and I really would like to get things back to normal around here. So that's also been a big part of my week. But of course, I tried to kind of focus on more of the positive parts as well. So we'll get into the other parts of the week as we go. But first, I did grab out my mega date stamp. Now that's a product that I do not see very often. It's normally just in I have like a Lazy Susan with a bunch of stamps and things on my desk, and I just keep it in there, and I honestly forget to grab it out the majority of the time. I really do love the Mega Date Stamp, but it is so big that you've got to have the right project to put it on. So since I had this title card that was just very empty, I thought, why not? Let's grab that out and do a couple large dates at the bottom. So I'm going to add that on. I'm going to keep this title card super simple. I have a lot of LA Studio products out right now, so I'm going to grab out some newer LA Studio what are they? They're like little alpha stickers. I'm going to grab those along with some older puffy LA Studio hearts, and I'm going to kind of add those around as well. So here I also have the Finley Donovan book, which I just adhered down to that April highlights card. So that was another big part of my week, since I was resting and trying to stay off my foot and not able to do a lot of the things that I normally do. I did finish the Finley book. So I've got to say, I really enjoyed it. I feel like maybe people will be more critical than me. I think I'm just really, really easy to please. It's rare that I will give something like a really harsh review. And for me, I enjoyed it. I mean, it's not the absolute best mystery that I've ever read, but I love the journey of getting there. I love Finley. I love Vero and all the characters in the Finley Donovan book. So I personally was really excited to be back in their world and to go along with all their shenanigans and all that kind of stuff. And it was just fun to read about them again. So I had a good time throughout this week reading a little bit of that book every day, and I'm glad that I got it done. So I have not been very good with my reading this year. I've been super behind. I just haven't been reading that much. I've been really, really into Buffy, as y'all know. So I've been watching a lot of Buffy and listening to the Buffy podcast. So I haven't really been reading or listening to audiobooks too much. So I was glad to have that one done. So I'm going to write a little review there on that card. But before I do that, I'm kind of adding in a few different embellishments. So I did add on 3 of those puffy pink heart stickers. And then I wanted to add on 3 of these like label phrase stickers. So I put one at the bottom of Will that says around the house. I put one that says a small detour on let the good times roll, about my ankle, of course. And then I'm going to add, I think it says favorite. And I'm going to add that under the Finley book. So as I'm starting to put other things into place, I'll chit chat with you a bit more about the week. So you will notice that beside the Finley book, I have a picture of our dining table decked out with all kinds of brunch food and then also our fancy pancakes. So this Monday, when me and Will have our day, we always spend Monday together. So that's one of his days off. So I try to, like, if we don't have anything planned and we're just going to hang around the house, I try to make it more fun by like having some sort of idea of what we're going to do, such as purchasing food that we can make together. I like to have an activity for us to do. Will likes to cook, and I also have fun like hanging out in the kitchen, helping him out, or cleaning up, or doing something like while he's cooking. So we had a lot of fun listening to our Grizzly podcast, and he made us amazing pancakes and made us loaded hash browns, and we made these little sausage links that we like, and it was just so much fun having a brunch together. For the pancakes, we did blueberry and chocolate chip, and then we had fresh berries and whipped cream and powdered sugar and maple syrup. I mean, we did the whole thing. So I love having kind of an event to do. And then we still are working away on our movie list, if you guys remember that. So we're watching movies this year. And so it's fun to have that list as well, because it gives us like somewhere to start, so that we're not just sitting there aimlessly scrolling, aimlessly like trying to find a movie and kind of having decision fatigue. So this a week was my turn to choose the movie. So I picked The Goonies. So we watched that as well, which was another good time. So I didn't document The Goonies on this spread, but I'm just giving you a little insider information. But I'm still going to be doing another, like, it's like a 6x12 page in here that will document all of the other movies that we've been watching over the past few weeks. So that will, I'm sure you'll see that whenever I do like the final flip through at the like midsummer mark, whenever this album's done. So besides the pictures of our brunch, I also have that picture at the bottom, and that's of Will kind of cleaning up this little area of the TV room. I did clean up that room this weekend, and we ended up hanging up some more of Will's prints and signs and things. That's his room, and it's also our like hangout TV room. So we got a lot of that done, and that was fun, just hanging out together and getting a few things completed in there. So Will had the vacuum out, and it was just funny, and I had to snap a picture of it. Then the last couple photos down there at the bottom, I do have a picture of the dogs ready for their walk. We've been taking them on lots of walks recently. You know, springtime, it's not too hot. It's really nice. They love getting out and going for walks. So I have that picture. And then the last one is, of course, I have already documented it and put it on Instagram, but I do have the Leilani Scraps starter pack, like little action figure that I drew. So that was another little thing that I did over this week. Whenever my ankle was messing up on me, it gave me an activity to do while I was in bed. So that was a good time as well. Also, if you do ever hear my printer in the background, I am in the middle of printing literally hundreds of photos. I'm working on my friend Casey's album from like September of 23 to September of 24. So I'm getting done with that. So I've been working on that today. So I'm taking a little break to voice over this video, but I'm knee deep in photos. So my printer's still making a little bit of noise. You know how it'll randomly just start talking to you out of nowhere. So I'm dealing with that. So here I've added on a little bit of my journaling in a couple places. And for the Let's Eat card, I just wanted to break up like that big paragraph journaling. So I grabbed out my Sophie Alpha stamp from Citrus Twist, and then I just stamped on the 1, the 2, and the 3. I've done this many, many times. I love that stamp set for Project Life. And so I thought that I could write about like each individual item. So I talk a little bit about the hash browns, the pancakes, and then also about some of the other little things that we had. So just to have, I don't know, to break it up and do more of a list style journaling sometimes is just easier for me. So that's what I'm going to do here. And then for the most part, all of these elements are in place, but I do know that one thing that was annoying me a little bit was that at the bottom, I had those 3 photos that were right beside each other. So the dogs, the like illustration, and then the picture of Will. But I didn't want to move the journaling around because I didn't want the journaling to be on top of each other and all that. So I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do here. So I am going to reprint that illustration photo to be a little bit smaller so that it will actually fit inside of, there's a small, like a rectangle. Oh, couldn't think of that word. There's a little rectangle on that box. So I am going to take it off here and I'm going to reprint it a little bit smaller. There's the rectangle. And then it will fit inside of that area. And I think just by printing off that photo a little bit smaller, it helped to not make it look so chaotic down there at the bottom. Just having that little bit of a white border and stuff just helped it a bit. So I'm going to add that in place. Also, you'll notice that I was kind of going back and forth with adding something else to that title card. It does feel a little empty, and I did put the mega date stamp kind of low, like on the bottom, because I thought that I would add more to the top. I don't end up adding anything else, and that's just the way it is, and it ends up working out fine for me. So I'm not going to add anything else to the title card. I felt like I had a lot of photos, a lot of things going on this spread, so I thought that I would just keep it simple. So here's where I'm cutting out that other picture that's a little bit smaller. And I was honestly really questioning the color scheme for this one whenever I was pulling out the cards right at the beginning, because I really, even though that card, the Let the Good Times Roll, is like such a dark green, I still wanted to use it because I wanted the sentiment. So then I had to find another green card that would match, and then the pink. And I was really happy that the starter pack picture that I drew seemed to be pretty much the same pink as my title card and that other journaling card. So that all kind of just ended up working out. So here, I almost forgot, but I printed off this other picture. It's an awkward picture, but it's hard to get a photo of your foot whenever it's sore and hurting and where you can see it in the light and all that. So it's kind of a weird picture, but this one is one that I took so that I could show my parents and Will how big my bruise was and stuff on my foot. So I ended up printing that out. And so I took the other nicer photo of my foot off of there, and then I'm adding journaling onto the back. So you'll see all this come together. But I did grab one of those snap photo flip little, whatever they are. They're like little adhesive photo pockets. And then you can add additional pictures, journaling, all kinds of stuff. So that way the picture of like my banged up foot, the awkward photo, will be hidden. But I wanted to tell more of the story of what happened. So whenever I'm looking back on this, I will know why I had that random picture of my foot there sitting on a pillow. So once you flip this open, you'll have a lot more context to it. Now this one I am flipping down instead of up, which I think flipping up is ideal. But I'm going to flip this one down since it's at the very top of the page protector, and that works out. I thought since I had this extra space over here by my foot, I would add something. So I just grabbed out those same LA Studio Alpha stickers that I used on my title card. I liked that it was white on white, so it was really subtle. and I'm just spelling out ouch, and I'm going to put a exclamation at the end. And then that's all of the embellishing that I'm going to do there. And then I'll get everything else into place. So this one came together pretty quickly. I love working with a kit. It's so easy. Even if you're having trouble making colors match, I feel like using a kit is the way to go, because typically you'll have a couple cards that have the green on it, a couple cards that have the pink on it, things like that. So you can really make things all end up coming together, which I love. So now I have my flip going on. I am going to grab my Velcro little dots here and add those on. I've just been adding them into my project life as well. I don't always do that, but it really does help with the flipping of the album as you are looking through it. Everything's not flopping all around everywhere, which I enjoy. So that is it for this one, my friends. So I hope that you enjoyed this a little bit longer, but still quick and easy process video. If you did, please give me a like, and please also consider subscribing. And of course, I will be back at you with lots more videos very soon. I'm planning on getting the rest of the craft room cleanup out this week, so stay tuned. All right, friends, talk to you later. Bye, y'all.